Is Alice Martin in the house? Or if not, do we have another board member who would like to do the welcome? Oh, two. You have two. Oh, why?
Good morning. No, I'm not Alice Martin. My name is Ann Harrington, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees. Welcome to our service. Unitarian Universalism encourages an open-ended search for meaning in life and a commitment to asking our values to shape our actions. We are a pluralistic religion that draws wisdom from many sources. We welcome all people into our beloved community of whatever age, race, class, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We especially welcome those of you who may be worshiping with us for the first time. We invite you to join us after service downstairs for coffee and snacks so that we can get to know each other better. Guests are welcome to participate in any activities in our community as our members. If you would like more information about the congregation, or if you have any questions about us, please do not hesitate to ask any member or Reverend J. Thank you for being with us today, whether in person or online. Enjoy the service.
Thank you, Ann. So good to see everybody here this morning, as well as online. There was an announcement just to remind everybody after the service today, we will be having a town hall meeting at 11:15 to prepare for next week's annual meeting, where we will vote on the budget and vote on board trustees for the board and for the leadership development team. And as well, there's an amendment to the bylaws. And so if you are here today, you will hear all about that. If you have questions, so the goal is if you have questions to to be able to have that time today in the town hall to discuss it. And there are some really, really important questions regarding our budget that, so I encourage all of you to do. One other announcement. Um, we have, as we were preparing for the annual meeting, we realized the person who does our land recognition is no longer a member. They have moved out of state. And I just felt, and that person was from indigenous heritage, and I think that is an important part of that. So, if there is someone else going forward who is of indigenous heritage and would like to do a land recognition, please connect with me or the worship team so that we could arrange that. Our opening words today are from John O'Donohue, called Where Beauty Is. I think beauty isn't all about just loveliness. Beauty is about more rounded, substantial becoming. And I think when we cross a new threshold, that if we cross worthily, what we do is we heal the patterns of repetition, right? That have been in us for time after time. That that had caught us somewhere. And in our crossing, then, we cross onto new ground where we just don't repeat what we've been through in the last place we were. And so I think beauty in that sense is about an emerging fullness, a greater sense of grace and elegance, a deeper sense of depth, and also a kind of homecoming for the enriched memory of your unfolding life. End quote. And so, as we light our chalice now, let its light be a symbol to allow us to see that unfolding life come to pass before us. I invite you now to join with me in the words of our chalice lighting that are up on the screen. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to see, to sustain, and to inspire, and to shine light again. Okay. I now invite you to rise in body and or spirit for our opening hymn, number 16, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple."
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed to turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed to turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
to see all of you. All right. Good morning, friends. How was your week? Good. So I have been thinking about my week when I was going to tell you how my week was, and it was messy. I feel like I made a lot of messes this week. Did anyone else like make a mess this week? Yes. You did? Awesome. I like that your brother raised your hand for you. Sometimes we need to be told. But we have this new puppy. And has anyone had a new puppy? Yeah. No. They make messes a lot. A lot of messes. And our puppy chewed up my computer charger, and I got in trouble for that. So this puppy's making a lot of messes. But in our puppy training book, the woman who wrote the book says that the really important thing about puppy training is to try to make sure you can laugh about the messes. So I've really been thinking about that a lot. So I've been thinking about how we can like laugh about our messes, and we can change our messes in our minds maybe to be less of a mess. So I'm going to make a mess, and you are all going to help me with it. Okay? Sound good? All right, I'm going to make a mess. You ready? All right. There's my mess. All right, you want to help me with it? Okay. So Marigold has this box of really awesome, they're like slick crayons. So I'm hoping you all will choose a color and then find a little space on there to color your color. Sound good? Deal? Okay, so I'm going to put this down with you, and while they do that, we're going to learn a little meditation. All right, so Marigold got color. And if any of you grown-ups want to come down and do this too, you're welcome to. Hi, Sally. You gotta help. All right. So while they work on my mess, I'm going to read this little meditation. And there are parts of it where you can repeat the line back to me. So I'll say it, and then I'll just go like this, gesture, repeat. Sound good? Okay. So this is called I Walk in Beauty, and this is a Navajo prayer song. So, beauty in front of me, beauty behind me, beauty above me, beauty below me, beauty all around me. I walk in beauty. In the house of long life, there I wander. In the house of happiness, there I wander. Beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty above me, beauty below me, beauty all around me. In old age traveling, with it I wander. On the beautiful trail I am, with it I wander. In beauty it is begun, in beauty it is finished. Beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty above me, beauty below me. So thank you for doing that with me. And I hope this week we can look at our messes and remember that beauty is within us and behind us and ahead of us. And we can look at our messes as beautiful. And I think we can look at my mess here. I'm going to hold it up and then let you all finish it downstairs. Sound like a plan? Yeah. Let's hold it up. Who wants to hold it up and show everyone? Oh, awesome. Here, let's hold it up for everyone to see. All right. Yeah. So you all can take that downstairs and we'll finish it downstairs. And remember that when we make messes, we can make them into something beautiful. And everyone have a good week. And you all
Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. I have to put that song back in the PowerPoint. It's been a couple of years since we've used it, so that was great. So I recently found a picture of myself when I was 19 years old. Let's see if we can put that up on the screen. Yeah, wow. As I look back on that picture of myself, I thought, wow, that's a pretty good-looking young guy there. But here's the thing: like, first of all, I don't even remember seeing myself in that way. It's really interesting. At that time in my life, I didn't think or feel that I was good-looking. So there were two things I take away from that. One, first, that pictures do not always tell the entire story. In this case, pictures didn't show the acne that I had and was very self-conscious about at that time. It also didn't show what I felt inside. Fear from my experiences for the first 17 years of my life living in the Bronx that did not make me feel beautiful. But the picture we present to the world is not always representative as to how we feel or as to who we really are. And that can work both ways, honestly. Sometimes we see ourselves better than others perceive us. And sometimes, sadly, too often, we see ourselves as less than or certainly different than how others perceive us. And it is why it is important to be genuine and transparent about who you are and what you believe. And a realization that although outside validation can help, right, can help build us up a little bit, and we should remember then, therefore, to do that for others. But validation about ourselves has to come internally from ourselves. So, despite when others see their picture of us, it cannot distort, right, what we know to be true about ourselves. Now, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh writes, and so if we can, yeah, there he goes. To be beautiful means to be yourself, right? When you are born a lotus flower, be a beautiful lotus flower, right? Don't try to be a magnolia flower. If you crave acceptance and recognition and try to change yourself to fit what other people want you to be, you will suffer all your life. So true happiness lies in understanding yourself and having confidence in yourself. End quote. And that is how I overcame my fears in life. I had more and more experiences in the world with different people, and over time, I realized my perceptions of others and of myself was really quite limited. Right? Once I accepted myself for who I was and who I could be, I did become more confident because I was more natural with myself and I was living out who I was in the world. And more possibilities and in the world opened up to me because of that. And I do believe it's because people saw that I was being genuine and authentic. But here is the tricky part. I just want to say discernment that others thoughts about us can sometimes help us see our own blind spots that we don't see about ourselves. And that can help us grow as human beings. And again, it does not have to be either or, but a both and, a constant cycle of assessing, evaluating, and adapting, and then starting that cycle over again. And whether that is individually or as a congregation, I often hear people say things about Unitarian Universalism or about this congregation that I certainly perceive very differently than others do. And so again, it's about perspective. So it's important too, as the Greek philosopher Socrates said, know thyself. And that's true individually and as well as a congregation. The second thing to realize about the picture that I showed talking about myself is that how we perceive ourselves changes over time, right? With the passage of time, hopefully we can become more comfortable within our mind and bodies and find that beauty within and without. To find beauty in and love ourselves for who we are, all of who we are as we are. Right? This is true as a congregation as well. With each new congregant that walks in the door, we are changed as a congregation. People come to this congregation for many, many different reasons, right? There's some for comfort, some for support, some for friendship, some for their children, I'll be honest, right? Some for spiritual and religious growth, some to be able to live out their values in the world, seeking justice with others in the larger world. It is or can be a beautiful mosaic, right? It never has to be either or any one of those things, right? There is enough room, and that is a theological question, one that I believe strongly. There is enough room for everyone in this picture. And only though if we can accept that everyone might view the picture differently. In fact, our difference is part of our beauty, I would say. Yes, beauty includes these beautiful flowering trees, this beautiful lawn, this beautiful sanctuary, these beautiful flowers that have ordained, all of a sudden ordained the pulpit area. Really, just beautiful. But remember, just a few months ago, all of this was covered with snow and the trees were barren of flowers or of leaves. You can tell nature is not the thing I'm most knowledgeable about, but I appreciate its beauty, and that is an important fact. Even if it's something we don't have knowledge of, we can appreciate something for what it is, or someone for who they are. So this type of beauty, this physical beauty of nature, can be both transient and evolving. Some things take longer than others. Think about the Grand Canyon. I think we have a picture on there for the Grand Canyon, or not, maybe. Yeah, there we go. It was the most awe-inspiring place I ever went to. And when I brought my son, he said, "Oh, big hole in the ground." So um, yeah, we see it as permanent, right? Like, wow. I mean, look, it took millions of years to be created, maybe billions, right? But it wasn't always like this. And it is still ever changing, just like nature, just like humanity, just like this congregation should recognize the changing nature of beauty. But when you look at it, I mean, to me, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing to look at. And yet it took millions, billions of years. We sometimes need to be patient and understand that beauty can be found in different places and in different ways. That sometimes, like a seed planted deep in the ground, we cannot always see it at first, right? But eventually, with proper nurturing, it will sprout and we will see that beauty flourish that was always within that seed. And if that seed was food, it would also then give sustenance to us and others. And this is what we do. We create an environment where seeds of compassion, seeds of love can flourish and give sustenance to each other so that we can create and find beauty in all that is around us, from the exciting, the most exciting, even to the mundane, such as, if we can go to the next picture, this bus in Pakistan. This driver took it upon himself, right, to create beauty so that his passengers, people seeing him, would experience beauty every day. Or this ornate train station in New York City, which if you walk around, sometimes all you see are these skyscrapers and concrete, but yet here, even there, they have this beautiful ornate, which is probably, where everyday people go every day to travel the train, and they get to experience that beauty. And the last I just want to point out is a shipwrecked boat. This is in Sydney, Australia, which has come back to life with a new, beautiful purpose of in essence, reforestation of the ship itself. So we can find and create beauty in every moment of every day if we look for it or create it, right? Seeds, we can plant the seeds that will create beauty in the future. Seeds of spiritual and religious growth, seeds of justice can grow. And sometimes we may not see the change quickly, and sometimes it evolves over a long time. But I invite us, may we grow, as O'Donohue's opening words said, with a greater sense of grace and elegance, a deeper sense of depth, and also a kind of homecoming for the enriched memory of the unfolding life. This congregation serves an important purpose to help create an environment where people can see the beauty in themselves and others as part of their religious life. In order to continue to do this for many, many years to come, we ask you to give generously, both as we close out our pledge drive for this year and as well to our offering, 50% of which will be shared with Quad Cities Interfaith, our partner in organizing work in the community. During this time, we also invite you to come up to light a candle to mark a joy or sorrow in your life. And as well for those online, if you would like a joy or sorrow read, to please write it into the chat. Let this sacred time begin. Each of us holds joys and sorrows in our life, some by lighting a candle, some we keep in the silent sanctuaries of our heart, and others we write in the book of joys and sorrows, which is outside the door prior to service, and we encourage people to write in it, and as well online on YouTube. So no, I was not checking out the baseball score today. I was checking uh, for comments. So there are a couple of joys and sorrows. Um, First, Laurie McCullum, thanks to Molly Tiglin and Kathy Murty for helping support our UU table at the Earth Day Fair yesterday. And thank you to Jay for his great letter to the editor in today's paper, but made both Argus and the QC Times. So, yeah. Thank you. That is how things get done by people volunteering and helping. And I see as well someone has asked us to thank the person who is on duty in the AV room today up in the loft. So, Therese, let's give her a round of applause. Because those 16 people who are online would not be able to see this without her. So let us take a deep breath, relax our bodies, and just breathe in and out for about a minute as we contemplate silently the joys and sorrows in our lives. I share with you now a prayer from Reverend Evan Carville Zemer, honoring the deeper voices. Spirit of life, today the advertising tells us what to buy for mom instead help us listen to and honor the deeper voices. Today let us honor all those who have made this world possible for us, those who did the hard work of building a better world for future generations. Today, let us honor the grief of those who have lost children through miscarriage, stillbirth, death, those who long for children, and those who, for whatever reason, cannot be in touch with their children this day. Today, let us honor the grief of those who mourn for their parents, whether separated by death, dementia, or disconnection. Today, let us honor those who fill in for missing mothering, fathers, grandparents, foster parents, aunties, and uncles, and more. Today, let us honor the ways we have each been nurtured and mothered by the mothers who gave birth to us, by the parents who raised us, by those many others who have supported and nurtured us of all genders. Today, let us honor those who survived damaging and traumatic mothering. Spirit of life, help them to heal. Let us remember that not every mother is ready for her children. And let us turn aside from the myths of motherhood on a pedestal and remember each parent is an imperfect human in need of more support than adulation, in need of our support. Today, let us honor those who are doing the hard work of nurturing, striving to meet not only the physical needs, but the many deep and complicated emotional and spiritual needs. Spirit of life, nurture and sustain them so that they may be the nurturers that you desire. And today, let us honor all the ways each of us give to tomorrow, knowing there are multiple paths of meaning and more than one way to birth a future. Today, with both joy and sorrow, let us be grateful for life, for the chance to love, for those who love us, and the opportunity to nurture the future. Amen.
We will be performing We Shall Be Known by Mamuse. Hope you enjoy. Yes, I love this song too. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
We'll start the second reflection with a video. Hopefully. There we go.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be pretty? Will I be pretty? What comes next? Oh, right. Will I be rich, which is almost pretty depending on where you shop? Will I be wanted, worthy, pretty? But puberty left me this funhouse mirror dryad, teeth set at science fiction angles, crooked nose, face donkey long, and pockmarked where the hormones went finger painting my poor mother. How could this happen? You'll have porcelain skin as soon as we can see a dermatologist. You sucked your thumb, that's why your teeth look like that. You were hit in the face with a frisbee when you were 6, otherwise your nose would have been just fine. Don't worry, we'll get it all fixed, she would say. grasping my face, twisting it this way, then that, as though it were a cabbage she might buy. But this is not about her. Not her fault. She too was raised to believe the greatest asset she could bestow upon her awkward little girl was a marketable facade. This is about the self-mutilating circus we have painted ourselves clowns in, about women who will prowl 30 stores and 6 malls to find the right cocktail dress, but who haven't a clue where to find fulfillment or how to wear joy, wandering through life shackled to a shopping bag beneath the tyranny of those 2 pretty syllables, about men wallowing on bar stools, drearily practicing attraction, and everyone who will drift home tonight crestfallen because not enough strangers found you suitably. This is about my own someday daughter. When you approach me, already stung-stained with insecurity, begging, "Mom, will I be pretty? Will I be pretty?" I will wipe that question from your mouth like cheap lipstick and answer, "No." The word pretty is unworthy of everything you will be, and no child of mine will be contained in 5 letters. You will be pretty intelligent, pretty creative, pretty amazing, but you will never be merely pretty.
We are often trapped into our families of origins version of who we should be and what we should aspire to. And we can become self aware and consciously change how we choose to live our lives and what values are more important to us. And it is important to remember that society has changed dramatically, and our culture as well, since the 1960s. And a big part of that was due to greater access to birth control and then the legalization of abortion through the court case Roe v. Wade. And due to the news this week, it appears the Supreme Court is ready to overturn a woman's right to choose how to manage their reproductive health. Now, I know that some of you here today might not support abortion rights, and that is okay, and I do respect that. I want you to know that. But I also would ask is that you respect others' choices to support abortion rights. This new court ruling, if it is written as it stands, is very broad in its writing and could theoretically impact many other rights that we have. I know this may seem odd to discuss in talking about beauty and especially on Mother's Day, but as I acknowledged in the prayer, Mother's Day can be hard, right? But I am also here to acknowledge the concept of Mother's Day as representing creation in our lives and creating the world that we live in, not recreating the world of our parents and grandparents lived in. Let us, as we move forward, include what is helpful, because there was things I learned from my parents and grandparents that were helpful, but then let go what is not helpful to us. That can be a hard thing, but we have to remember we cannot change the past. And people are who they are because of the multitude of circumstances that happened in their lives, much of which I can tell you we cannot imagine, and we'll never know the circumstances that led previous generations to act the way they do. So let me be clear. Our lives are a work of beauty. Every life. We are creative forces in the universe. Every single one of that. And that can be with children. That can be without children. That can be with limiting the number of children we have. We can love who we choose. We can marry who we choose to. We can, for the most part, finances allowing, choose to eat, vote, shop, and live wherever we want to. But I can tell you just 60 years ago, and that still is in my lifetime, just barely, that was not the case for many Americans. Right? There are some in this country who would like to bring us back 70, if not, 200 years into the past, to a time when women and people of color had less rights and less opportunities. The rights and opportunities that my mother and aunt, and I know many of our older members and your family members advocated for, what their parents couldn't even imagine, had started to come to pass. In the preliminary Supreme Court decision on overturning Roe v. Wade, the decision includes as its main basis for its conclusion that the 14th Amendment's right to privacy only holds, and I'm quoting here, for rights that are deeply rooted in the nation's history and traditions and implicit in the concept of ordered liberty, end quote. So, what the court is pointing out to us as a society is that for the majority of this country's history, we have oppressed women. And therefore, because we have oppressed them for the majority of our history, then they do not have a right to privacy going forward. And that is just like absurd thought process to me. I do not even understand that. Think about where that line of thinking could lead us as a country. So, yes, maybe it is time to be concerned, right? It's way past time. When the opinion states ordered liberty, I have to ask, ordered liberty for whom, right? At the time of the Constitution, only white men owned a property and had the right to vote. So are we saying ordered liberty is only for white men who own properties? No, no, no. This ruling does not provide ordered liberty for women. It does not. It flies in the face of that. There can be no turning back anymore. Our Unitarian Universalist principles call us for justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, and the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, not just rich white men, but justice for all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We need to get fired up about this. We are way past that time, right? There is no turning back. And I think it's interesting. The Greek word for beauty comes from the word hora, which means hour. And beauty was thus associated with being of one's hour, like a ripe fruit in its time was considered beautiful, right? Being in one's right time is beautiful, not living in the past of 50 or 70 years. We're way beyond that. We need to be beautiful and live in our current time. It's interesting, in Judaism, Haddah is the word for beauty, and in the Talmud, in a story describing a beautiful tree, the sages conclude beauty is interpreted to be a fruit which, I quote here, dwells continuously all year on the tree. And Rabbi Schmidman states that, and I quote, the tree grows, blossoms, and produces fruit throughout all the seasons, in the heat and the cold, in the wind and the storms. It stubbornly persists, it endures. And in the Jewish view, that is why it is beautiful, end quote. So how do we nurture beauty? Right? We prepare ourselves like a not yet ripe fruit on the vine. We need to nurture compassion. We need to nurture justice. We need to nurture wisdom, right? We must know who we are and what our values are. And we must stubbornly persist and endure to bring about the beautiful world that we dream about. We nurture beauty by acting beautiful towards each other and others, right? Working to be our best selves, to take a chances of exploration of the mind, right? To see our limits and to realize our lack of limits, right? John O'Donohue said, and I quote, beauty ennobles the heart and reminds us of the infinity that is within us, end quote. So let us be unshackled from the chains that generations past have laid on us. Let us be free from our consumer driven, advertising obsessed, desire driven society. And I see we have a future preacher here in the back, and I want to encourage you to keep speaking out there. Absolutely. Let us see the beauty in ourselves and in every single person, and then let us work together to see the beauty in every action that we take. If we do, then I would say anything is possible. May it be so. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit for our closing hymn, number 305, De Colores.
All the colors, yes, the colors we see in the springtime with all of its flowers. All the colors, when the sunlight shines out from the rift in the towel of its showers. All the colors, as a rainbow appears when a storm cloud is touched by the sun. All the colors abound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All the colors, yes, the colors of people parading on by with their banners. All the colors, yes, the colors of pennants and streamers and plumes and bandanas. All the colors, yes, the colors of people now taking their place in the sun. All the colors abound for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All the colors, yes, the black and the white and the red and the brown and the yellow. All the colors of people who smile and shake hands and say hello. All the colors, yes, the colors of people know that their freedom is won. All the colors abound and for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. Hey. Oh, sí. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de fuera. De calores es el largo iris que vemos lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Woo!
Our closing words are from Carrie Newcomer. Riding my bike down a narrow country road, to one side a dense forest, and on the other side a wide summer meadow, and then right beside me a graceful young doe was bounding, bounding in beautiful unhurried leaps. I won't leap. And for just a moment, we were two deer running together in the blue evening light. And then, with a burst of speed, she dashed in front of me and disappeared into the woods, leaving me breathless with a feeling of visitation, of holy communion, like I'd been touched ever so briefly by something wild and unbroken. And since that moment, the world, the world has felt less weary, like anything and everything is still completely possible. May it be so. Please join me in extinguishing the chalice, the words of which will be up on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And please remember to stay around for the town hall meeting if you can.